Hey everybody, before this video starts, I wanted to let you guys know that this video, as well as a review for Creed 2 that should be up soon, were both filmed at the end of November, around the time of Thanksgiving. And so if there's at any point in these two videos, if I say anything such as, go see this movie this weekend, or this movie is finally out, keep in mind that this video was filmed over a month ago. I usually don't like to upload these videos where it takes me a long time to edit them, and by this point they're kind of irrelevant, but I really liked Creed 2, and I talk about Harry Potter a lot on this channel, so I wanted to give my opinion on these two movies specifically. With all that being said, enjoy the review. So Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindlewald is the sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which came out 2 years ago. In this movie, we're still following our favorite magic zoologist, Newt Scamander, still played by Eddie Redmayne. This time he's in Paris and he's on a mission to find Credence, the Obscurial from the first movie, who died but somehow survived apparently. He's got to go find Credence and bring him to safety because at the same time the dark wizard Grindelwald is also trying to find Credence, harness his power to help him take over the world. That's your basic plot. But there's a lot of other stuff going on in this movie. Like I said in the intro, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I've loved all of the Harry Potter movies to varying degrees, and the first Fantastic Beasts movie I liked but didn't love the first time I saw it. But upon rewatching, the movie does get better and better for me, and I still wouldn't say that I love the movie, but it is really good. And so now enter The Crimes of Grindlewald, which I still think is a stupid name for a movie, but titles don't mean anything. How's the movie itself? It was alright. Starting out with the cast that we know from the first movie, Eddie Redmayne in this movie still great as Newt Scamander. I know some people don't really like the character of Newt. They don't like how Eddie Redmayne portrays him, how he's always looking down, never making eye contact, very jittery. I'm fine with it. I think it works for the character. And if you're looking for an unassuming hero to fit this story, Newt works pretty well for that. Some people from Newt's past are brought into this movie taking place in Europe instead of America like the first movie was taking place in. It hits a little closer to home to Newt, so you meet his brother Theseus, you meet Leta Lestrange, who used to be his girlfriend. I liked especially in the beginning of this movie is in the first movie you had Newt the fish out of water. In this you have more of Newt as just Newt living his life. Of course you still see him taking care of these fantastic beasts. A couple of new ones are introduced into this movie, and you have some returning favorites from the first movie like the Niffler and the Bowtruckle, all of which I like. Now the other three main leads from the last movie, all three of them are good in the movie. Dan Fogler, Alison Sudol, I don't know how you say that, Catherine Waterston, they're all good. One of my concerns though going into this movie is that from the end of the last movie I was kind of like, I don't really know why they need to be in this movie. And the initial reaction that they gave for all of them being in there, especially Queenie and Jacob, it was horrible. I hated it. However, when you get past that point, I do really like what they did with the characters. The Queenie and Jacob arc I thought was going to be the weakest part of the movie is actually one of the strongest parts of the movie. I can't really talk about it without getting into spoilers, but what's interesting about it is in the Harry Potter universe, most of the couples we see, they're either budding romances or they're people that have been married forever. Whether it's Harry and Ginny, Ron and Hermione, or you have like the Weasleys. With Queenie and Jacob, you see a relationship that's still in its infancy. They're still working stuff out. So there's just a little more drama that can be had in that situation. I thought they took advantage of that really well. And Tina in the movie, I like the character of Tina, but I don't really feel like she was given much to do in this movie. She was fine, but she's mostly just there to do her detective work. I really bagged on Ezra Miller in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, and I didn't love him in that movie. It felt like he might have been miscast. I thought it worked fine, but I also felt like the character wasn't actually given too much to do. So I'm fine waiting another movie to really see where they want to go with this character, but this movie does provide promise. Now, one part I was very critical about for the first movie was the casting of Johnny Depp as Gellert Grindelwald. We have him in this movie. We also have Jude Law as Dumbledore. These two have a history together. And as for both of their performances, they're both pretty good. Johnny Depp, honestly, a lot better than I thought he was going to be. However, I'm right at pretty good with both of them, and I can see my opinion either going up or going down in future movies, but I'm just there for right now because honestly, they weren't in the movie that much. Now, I was expecting that from Jude Law as Dumbledore. I was expecting him to maybe come in a little bit more in later movies. But come on, Grindelwald's name is in the title of the movie. And if you're seeing a trend in this video, there's a reason for that. Credence, not in the movie that much. Tina, not in the movie that much. Grindelwald, not in the movie that much. And that's because the script in this movie, it's kind of a jumbled mess. All of these characters are good when they're given stuff to do. The problem is that so many stories are trying to be told all at once that none of them really stick out. Like right off the top, how many characters was that? There was Newt, Tina, Queenie, Jacob, Credence, Dumbledore, Grindelwald, and then on top of that you have Letta Lestrange, you have Theseus, who is Newt's brother. Credence is palling around with his girlfriend Nagini. Yes, that is Voldemort's snake. I'm not even going to count Nicholas Flamel, who is in this movie. He was in the trailer, so I don't think that's a spoiler. He's in the movie, he does a couple things, whatever, but that's like 10 characters, not counting Flamel. 10 that you have to follow, which is way too much, and J.K. Rowling, who wrote the script, doesn't focus on one character at a time. It doesn't feel like Harry Potter, where she's telling the story of Harry, and the wizarding world is a surrounding bubble to that. It feels like she's trying to tell the story of the wizarding world as a whole. So the movie suffers from a lot of pacing issues as a whole, and you have that feeling where like you're stuck with Newt and Jacob, things are going good, then they cut to Grindelwald, then they cut to Credence and Nagini, and by the time they get back to Newt, you're kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot they were in this movie, wow. And they're all pretty good actors. I can't really think of a performance in this movie that was really bad. I'm still waiting to see what they do with Ezra Miller and Johnny Depp, but you know, in general, nothing too detracting, but there's just so many people and the script is focusing on way too many things that no one really stood out. And the first Fantastic Beasts suffered from that a little bit. I remember the first movie had some pacing issues. I said in my review of the original movie, you take like a 40-minute span in Fantastic Beasts and you take the pacing of one of the Harry Potter movies, apply that pacing to Fantastic Beasts, you could shrink that 40 minutes down to like 20 minutes. I feel the same way about this movie. I think what J.K. Rowling needs to do is I still want her involved with these movies and I want her coming up with the stories, but give her someone like Steve Kloves, someone who's good at adapting books to film, especially when it comes to Harry Potter. Have her come up with this big story. Heck, maybe even have her just write a book. And then you have a screenwriter go, okay, let's take this, let's take that. I think we can shrink this scene down. You just get a more cohesive story. And obviously I haven't seen all of the Fantastic Beasts saga, but maybe if they did that, we would have just had 3 movies and not 5. Most of the stuff that was good in the first Fantastic Beasts is still good in this movie. The Beasts are cool. The cast is cool. There is some Harry Potter fan service in there. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work, some of it breaks continuity. Kind of a big mishmash of fan service in there, but the subtle stuff really works. And there were some cool new additions like Jude Law, and I'm more optimistic about Johnny Depp now, but the whole thing was just bogged down by this plotting story that really feels like it's more focused on setting up the larger wizarding world, aka more sequels, than it is with just telling its own narrative. I feel weird being this critical about a Harry Potter movie. I was kind of thinking Harry Potter would be one of those franchises it's just impossible for me to be critical about, but there was definitely stuff in this movie that bugged me. Did I find enjoyment in it? Yeah, because I'm a Harry Potter fan. But someone going into here who has never seen a Harry Potter movie or a Fantastic Beasts movie, they're gonna be completely lost. And yes, this is movie 10 in this series, so yeah, catch up on the other movies. I think Harry Potter fans will enjoy it, maybe be a little split on it, but if you're not on the Harry Potter train by now, if you're not on the Hogwarts Express by now, that was dumb. If you're not on this train by now, this movie's not going to get you there. So overall, I was disappointed with The Crimes of Grindlewald. It's definitely the weakest out of the 10 Wizarding World movies that we've had so far. There were little things that annoyed me, and I want to make a spoiler video where I go more in depth with some of those things. But as far as the big overarching stuff, it was pacing, it was story, it was trying to set up sequels instead of telling your own story in this movie. All stuff that aspiring cinematic universes run into, which I don't want this to be like that. I want this to just be a story. You throw some universe stuff in there, that's cool, but let the Fantastic Beasts story come first. So, The Crimes of Grindlewald has been out for a little bit now. What did you guys think of the movie? Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.